One Piece chapter 1125 must be one of the craziest chapters in all of this year. So come on, let's not waste time and let's get into the chapter. I swear, after reading the spoilers and all, I still could not believe what just happened in this chapter. First of all, oh my god, look, to be fair, a lot of people thought that Saturn would eventually be dead in this arc, okay? A lot of people thought that. But who would have thought that this is gonna be the way of how Saturn is gonna dead? And oh my god, what a way to let a Gorosei die, vanish, go away. And finally, let's celebrate, y'all. Saturn is finally not here. We can finally continue the story of One Piece without Saturn. So let's get into what happened in this chapter. And the Egghead incident finally culminated. The editor, Anayama, was always right. And he said that there was still one more big twist to the Egghead incident, which is the death of Saturn. And in my opinion, this is the big incident in Egghead arc. As the narrator said, like, I don't know, in chapter, I don't know, 1076, let's say, okay? I'm just gonna throw a chapter in my head. So what happened was literally the craziest thing that I've seen in One Piece so far. What happened was that we got to the room of authority, alright? Garling, what do you think you're doing in here? All of a sudden, Garling just entered the room, alright? And he said, new orders have been bestowed upon us. Alright? New orders, they were surprised and all. He said, the Vegapunk known as York shall henceforth be under my purview, as I was just named the new Defense Science Warrior of God. As I was just named the new Defense Science Warrior God. And they were all surprised. Let us work together to better the world. Alright, my fellow elders, and boom, we got it officially. 5 elder planets, Saint Figureland, Garling, Defense Science Warrior God, and oh my god, then we got to Egghead Island. We see that Saturn falls on the ground screaming in front of the shocked Vice Admirals. Black flames and lightning erupt from Saturn's body, and this was, oh my god, one of the craziest things I've seen all year. Alright, Saturn was screaming and all the Vice Admirals were literally looking at Saturn and they were like, what the hell? Aren't you supposed to be immortal? Alright, and Saturn was thinking and he said it couldn't be Imu-sama, and he was screaming. And we got to see Saturn's body rapidly grows older and wrinkled like a mummy. Vice Admirals, all of them were shocked and they did not know what to do with that situation. And Saturn was like, oh, Imu. Imu said, Saturn, why did you let Joy Boy escape? Oh my god, I cannot describe how great this scene was. I cannot describe how Imu finally said something about Joy Boy, and he finally confirmed that Luffy is the Joy Boy, and they were finally officially talking about him as the Joy Boy. Oh my god, having to see one of the elders, one of the Gorosei, and Imu-sama, the ruler of this world, after like 1,000 plus chapters. Oh my god, this gotta be the craziest thing probably I've ever seen in One Piece, okay? And then Saturn was begging Imu and he was saying, please have some mercy, and his powers is unpredictable beyond my comprehension. And he was screaming, and we can see a huge explosion of black flames and lightning. After the flames dies down, only Saturn's skeleton remains on the floor. Oh my god, and then we got to Punk Hazard. Now let's talk about the whole situation of Imu and Saturn. Now, it gotta be confirmed, right? I mean, after the chapter where, I think 1085, right? Where Cobra was talking to Imu and the whole Cobra situation, or the whole Cobra incident per se, where he finally met Imu. And then we got to see they were trying to kill him and Sabo interfered. So we saw their powers, right? At that time, we saw a silhouette of Imu. It's like X-Pac. I don't know how to describe it, okay? It's just a silhouette. But at that time, a lot of people were saying that how about, or what if, that the Gorosei's powers are mainly from Imu. Or they're like part of Imu at this point, right? So a lot of speculations were been thrown around since then, like been 40 chapters now, right? Yeah, we're 1125, and it was in 1085. So yeah, 40 chapters until we got in this chapter. It is kind of confirmed that their powers, or wait, let's just not say their powers, right? So let's just say their immortality is from Imo-sama. So she or he was able to give them the immortality, right? Because at this point we got to see their powers and all, but as we've seen with Saturn, he was growing older. So as the whole immortality stuff and all went away, vanished, we got to see Saturn getting older, and then boom, nothing but skeleton, right? So as that, it kind of confirmed that Imo-sama was the one who's giving them, or who made them immortal, right? So I guess that's confirmed. This confirms it. And yeah, at this point, the Garossi are just puppets for Imo-sama. They're just moving bodies at this point, right? Because, and this was crazy, because how would someone like Figerland Garling has the powers, not the power per like the punches, no, have the authority, all right, let's say the authority for him to get into the room, the authority room, and then just all of a sudden saying that new orders, I am Garossi at this point. I am a new Garossi. I'm one of you guys. Come and embrace me, please. This was crazy. This was insane. But hey, I think this describes the whole corrupted system of the world government, right? Boom. One of the Garossi is dead because of the man or the woman who's ruling this world. Another Garossi came in. This is it. And basically, he's a defense science warrior god. Not the title has not changed. Nothing has changed. So was Saturn really a god when it comes to the warrior science and all, like the defense science and all? I don't know, because is Figerland really the defense science warrior god? We don't know anything about that. So this was the main topic of this chapter, which is Saturn and Imo, and the new Garossi, which is Figerland Garling. And this was, I'm still gonna call it one of the craziest, if not the craziest thing I've seen in One Piece, alright? So the chapter started where Roblucci basically just confirmed that Stasi is dead and she was killed in action, okay? So then cut to see Saturn was talking to the vice admirals, and he was telling them about the whole situation and all. He said that with York and Punk Records and all, now we have a secured access to the eternal Mother Flame. That result would have been more accurate. So he was basically not happy with the stuff that lead them to this result, but he was happy with the result, okay? Because they basically got the access to the Mother Flame, and Vegapunk, the main body, is dead, okay? And then the Vice Admiral said, please let us leave to pursue them to Elbaf, which is the Straw Hats. And then Saturn said, no, forget Elbaf. The failure to which is referred is far more dire. Allowing Vegapunk's message to play was an unexpected disaster. Not to mention that Iron Giant surfacing to aid in the pirates' escape. It's ironic, really. And then we got a small flashback, roughly 200 years ago. But Saint Saturn, we've already received orders to scrap it. I will take responsibility should this be uncovered. Now, do as I bid and study it thoroughly. Really, this is the future, and I'm certain it will ultimately prove to be a great asset to our military might. Thank you for the opportunity. It would have been a shame to junk such an exciting specimen. And yet, and then Saturn was thinking to himself, it remained dormant for 200 years, and yet it clearly moved to protect Straw Hat Luffy. And now the crazy thing we got to see inside the lab, York was basically shocked by the sky's clouds. And then she realized that the brain of Vegapunk was flying. Because of the GOAT Edison, even though he sacrificed a lot in this arc, he managed to let the brain of Vegapunk fly away, not letting the world government taking the mind or the brain of Vegapunk. So now we got to the Holy Land of Morijua, and the Team Robito and all, they were talking about what Vegapunk said and all, and they said that the world sinking does not affect us. And then they were talking about Akainu, that he does not, or he didn't do anything to the whole Kuma situation and all. And they started talking about the food issue because of the Revolutionary Army. So until now, everything the Revolutionary Army has done to the world government is basically working out. because the food issue is basically a huge issue at this point for the world government right now, okay? Or let's say for the Shinrobito, okay? And now we got cut to the room of authority, which is we got to see Garling Figureland being the new Gorosi instead of Saturn, and then we got to see the crazy thing with Saturn and Imu, which is we got into that, and then we moved to the 4 Vegapunks, and they were talking. Shaka was saying, looks like we weren't able to move the Labo Stratum 2. That Trainer York got in the way. The signal reaches across the globe, so she will still be able to connect, but that's better than handing her the whole thing on a silver platter in it. So we basically got the 4 the 4 remaining Vegapunks, which is Shaka, Atlas, Pythagoras, and Edison, mainly in the body, or in the brain of Vegapunk. And then we got to see the weird body, which is, I don't know, the body of Shaka, the head of Edison, and the hands, one of them with Pythagoras and the other with Atlas. It was confusing, okay? But at least we got to see the 4 remaining Vegapunks, the satellites of Vegapunk, which is, as Lilith said in the previous chapter. And then we got to see whole bodies. They were walking in this weird laboratory, or I don't know what is it, with bodies and all, and the bodies look, oh my god, okay? But we got to see the heads of Edison, the heads of Pythagoras, and the heads of Shaka, or the masks of Shaka. This was crazy, okay? So this lab is insane. We got to see everybody, and then cut to Kamabaka Kingdom, which is we got to see one of the craziest, and this is why this chapter is insane. They were basically talking about everything Vegapunk was talking about. The world were in sync and all, and they were thinking of the other places there that they got to see, which is the bridge and all. And then they were saying all the pieces are falling into place. You took the words right out of my mouth, so they all agreed. And then Dragon said, Vegapunk, among those who heed your warning, many will act out of self-interest, not peace. We must hurry and achieve victory for our cause before the people of the world kill each other to secure habitable land. End of the chapter. Oh my god, chapter 1125 is basically perfect. Literally from the beginning until the end, this chapter was perfect. And guess what? No break next week. We have a chapter. This is amazing. What a week. We got to see the episode of One Piece and it was insane. And we got to see this amazing chapter, which we got to see everything we wanted to see to conclude this amazing arc, the Egghead. And now guess what? We're going, baby. We're going to Elbaf. But guess what? We're gonna get probably 10 chapters, which we're gonna see the outside world of One Piece, as we used to every time we're ending or we finish a certain chapter or a finish. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm. Okay, every time we finish a certain arc, we got to see the whole between arcs and all, which is amazing. Everybody loves that, right? I love it, you love it, everybody loves that. So I guess that's it, guys. Drop your thoughts on the chapter. Like I said, 10 out of 10, there's no doubt about it. And I guess that's it, guys. Mwah.